Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Curtis. I'm so excited for our project this week. We are going to be creating an artwork based on the artist Jason Naylor. Jason Naylor is a New York-based artist who creates these amazing, beautiful murals all over the city of New York and now all over the country. He's known for his bright, vibrant colors and his powerful, positive messages. So we're going to create an artwork influenced by this. Now, we obviously cannot go out and spray paint on walls, but what we can do is we can use this awesome scratch art paper that we have to create messages with those nice, bold colors, just like Jason Naylor does. Try to get that glare off there. There it is. There's mine. So in order to do this project, you need to have a sheet of white paper to sketch on, and then you're also going to need a sheet of this black scratch art paper. This should have been in with your sketch books that you picked up or your parents picked up from school. If you haven't gotten this yet, you are going to need this for day 2 of the project. So you can contact me or have a grown-up contact me, and I'll make arrangements for you to get this picked up. All right, we're going to actually be starting with our plain white paper. So you can put your scratch art paper off to the side and just have your white paper. And then, of course, you're going to need your pencil for your drawing. Now, I'm going to have to draw with a Sharpie so it shows up on the screen, but you are definitely going to want to draw with a pencil to help you. What we're going to do is we're going to create the negative space drawing of our picture here. So we're going to create the outlines, and then when we transfer it to our scratch art paper, we're going to create the positives. Everything that you make needs to be block letters or shapes. That's really important. You can't just have lines like this. You've got to actually make them into shapes. So if I was going to create an X, I wouldn't do an X like this. I would do an X like this. Okay. If I was going to create something that looked like confetti, I wouldn't do confetti like this. I would do confetti like this. So all shapes and block letters. This is really important for this project. Okay, I'm going to get a new piece of paper. My word that I'm going to create is going to be, or my sign, positive message that I'm going to create is going to be make art. Now, I'm not going to start in Sharpie because this first step really does have to be done in pencil. So I'm actually going to start with a pencil, and I'm just going to push really hard so you can see it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to write my words, make art. And I have to decide, do I want my words to go neatly side to side? Do I want them at an angle? Do I want one at an angle and one sideways? And I think that sounds the best to me. So I'm going to use the word make, and I'm going to do it kind of at an angle here. And you can use uppercase, lowercase, whatever you want. But we're going to start by just printing neatly our word. This is very similar. Actually, this is just like the graffiti names that we did earlier this year, if you remember way back to the beginning of the year. Okay, so the letters are printed. Now what I'm going to do to make them block letters is I'm going to go around them, recreating that shape. Now, as you do this, you want to make sure that the letters are not touching. This is really important. You can see in between each of his letters, there's just a little bit of black space. We need to make sure that that black space stays there. So as I outline, I'm going to make sure that my letters are not touching. So I might need to make some adjustments as I go. So I'm going to make some kind of bubble letters, and I'm just going to trace around my pencil lines, creating those bubble letters. And again, I want to make sure my letters don't touch, so I've got to leave a little space there. This is really important. I'm going to hit that line there, and that's okay. Make the inside of the A. Leave a space between the K and the A. Okay, so there's my first word. You can see I left just a little bit of space in between each other. It's really important. The letters cannot touch. Now I'm going to be a little bit close on this A here, so I'm going to make sure that I don't make it touch. And I'm going to do a little extra flair, I think, on these letters because art is awesome and I want it to look more creative. And same thing here. Oh, I'm going to have to cut it across here because I don't want it to touch. Now, I do not like what's happening at the bottom of this R. So if I was using a pencil, I could easily go in and erase it and fix it. But since I am using marker, I'm going to have to use a little bit of whiteout. This is why I really recommend for this project, especially, that you use just a pencil. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. Looks pretty good. And figure out what's going on with this R. That's better. I like that a lot better. Okay, now once I have my letters and they're all blocked out, they're 3D, then I can start adding some designs. And you can see in his pictures, he adds a lot of different designs. He's got these kind of raindrop shapes. He's got hearts. He's got these kind of like the sun coming up here. There's X's. There's all kinds of things, polka dots. You can do any of that stuff to your drawing. So in my background, I'm going to start to fill it up with lots of different shapes. Now, again, just like with the letters, none of the objects can touch. So important. They can't touch the letters and they can't touch each other. So I'm going to add this kind of sun shape. And I'm going to make sure that as I put it in there, it doesn't touch the top of the letters and it doesn't touch anything else. And I'm going to put the rays of the sun on there. And again, I'm making sure that they don't touch the sun and I'm making sure that they don't touch each other. They can go off the page. All right, that looks pretty good. And here I want to make even more of that sun shape, but again, I'm going to make sure I go around my letter. So I'm going to have just a little bit of it showing like that. I kind of had to break it up to make it work. So important that these objects are not touching. There we go. That looks pretty good. Let's see. I'm going to add some swirls in here coming in from the side. And then some polka dots with it. And again, not touching. Okay, I'm going to keep adding details to mine, and you're going to keep adding details to yours. And then we're going to meet back here for step 2 tomorrow. Okay, so have your whole picture finished. I left some examples on Canvas you can look at. I left a bunch of examples of his work for things that you can put in the backgrounds, but make sure that you're filling the entire paper with your different designs. All right, I will see you tomorrow for part 2.